did that. Where did hide in the boxes? I'm not ready. Wait, it's not even raining outside in the thing. Hold on. I've got just the thing. This isn't even a real PNG. What the hell? So true. Okay. Anyway. Give me a sec. Alright. Okay. Okay. No! 1, 2. Oh my gosh. Today's blessing is if you burp, it doesn't smell like pork. Yeah. That's today's blessing. Oh, really? Burp smells like pork. I'm tired. Ew, don't imagine the smell. My pizza says won't smell like pork. No, I didn't eat beef. I didn't. I was gonna eat beef, but I was like, I don't feel like beef, sis. I just woke up like 30 minutes ago. Oh, 40 minutes ago. So I'm like, I don't know. It was so hard to sleep last night because I was like, I still wanna play video. So I was like, oh gosh, I need to get off the PC at 9 p.m. and then start calming down and then go to sleep at 10 p.m. I can't believe I have a bedtime. I'm a freaking adult. I'm like a baby. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Stupid. Living bedtime, Desc. No, I don't think I have to write a book report on this. I've had this book since like last year, I think. Or was it? I don't remember. But yeah. I don't think we've ever had to write a book report on it. I don't know. No. Well, not recommended by like teachers or anything. It was recommended by a friend like a year or two ago. So I finally checked it out, sis. And I liked it when I read it, but now we're gonna start over and read it. Yeah, I don't think my school would give us Russian literature as well. It was a fun read. I don't think so. I don't know what freaky books you're talking about. I'm kind of worried. Oh, yo. Vaguely feminist novels. What does that mean? Yeah, I only have to finish like PE and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty much only Shakespeare and stuff, sis. I don't know, it was kinda whatevers. I can't appreciate Shakespeare. Am I freaking weird? Maybe I have to read more Shakespeare to really appreciate, but I think I just don't like because of the teacher. Good day. Good day. It's raining outside now, as you can see. So really, I thought everybody loves Shakespeare. Yes. Yeah, I guess the idea that we are reading it in class and not out of your own like will is like, I guess that kind of takes away from the enjoyment. It is very alienating. It is very alienating. I remember I tried reading like works that are made recently, and one of them was so freaking bad and everybody was hyping it up, so I don't remember what it was called, but it was weird, man. Like it was some teen romance thing and I was reading it and everybody was hyping it up and I was just like I was just reading it and I was bored out of my mind, but I wanted to fit in so bad, so I read the entire thing and I was like, when does this get good? Why does everyone hype it up? It's so bad. Oh my gosh, it was awful. I think it involved like going to camp and then liking somebody from camp and then I don't remember anymore. But yeah. Eesh. Eesh. No, I wouldn't say I'm not like the other girls because I did enjoy reading romance, but I don't know, that just wasn't it. Like, I don't know. I was reading it because I was like, oh, I like what a lot of people read, so I'm gonna give this one a try because it's a pretty big book too. And when I read it, I was like, oh my god, this is not that good. Yeah, I like really cheesy romance. I like really cheesy romance. I don't think I read Smut. I read Lemon still. Like, fan fiction R18. And it was always character X reader. Oh, those are the see. My bad. I don't really understand those terms. That's partly why I became an artist. Like, started drawing cute girls. Cause I like putting myself in situations. Okay, that sounds wrong. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like I like drawing myself. I didn't mean like weird situations. I just mean like drawing myself being in a party, drawing myself being in Minecraft, drawing myself being in, you know. I don't mean it like those weird things. Oh God. It's over. It's over. I don't mean it like that. Bro. Alright. I wanna wait a little before we read because my eyes are still getting used to my glasses right now. I don't know why it takes so long to get used to my glasses. Like, I don't know, like when I walk outside and I have to like I'm wearing my glasses because like I'm so used to just being indoors, right? And then I have my glasses on and stuff. So when I walk outside, everything feels like it's warping. It just feels wrong. So whenever I put my glasses on, I have to like stare at text for a while before I can like fully before my eyes fully adjust. That's the field there. Well, I can't see well. Yeah, they do. Oh my gosh. I ate a lot of pork like 2 days ago, and to this day, I still burp pork. I'm so sad. It's so gross. It smells gross. No, I actually didn't eat rice. I had lettuce and pork. Ew. I don't know. It was pretty good. But yeah. Oh my god, I can't. I can't whistle. Okay, I don't know what to say anymore. I've run out of... Oh yeah, I have to practice. Okay. Without the picture of people staring into the camera first. Okay. Okay, give me the cue. Give me the cue. Give me the cue. Okay, so I walked to the front and then oh shit, okay, again. So I walked to the front and then I start talking. again. So I walked to the front. Good morning, my name is Mini Moos and I like to draw and play video games. A fun fact about me is I own a microscope. Okay, now with the people. Okay. People looking into camera. Why is there an image of like a crowd of people looking into like their cameras while they're recording you? Like that's so specific. Okay. Okay, give me the cue. Give me the cue. Give me the cue. God, I forgot to open it. Sorry. What was it? Oh yeah, okay. So I walked to the I walk to the front. I walk to the front and then I say, "Good morning. My name is Good morning. My name is Mini Moos, and I like to draw and play video games. And a fun fact about me is I own a microscope." Yeah. I don't know, that's it. That's it. I can't do this anymore. That's enough for today. No, I have a harder time in Visa, trust me. I don't know if you've heard before, but I tried introducing myself in Visa and I'm so freaking bad. I don't know how people do it. Okay, let's read. Okay. I have to zoom in case I accidentally read something wrong. Okay. Let's begin. Okay. Are you guys ready? Do you have your books ready? Oh yeah, I have a online copy right now because I didn't go and look for my book. Although I feel it would be nice to have the flipping pages ASMR. Okay. My homework. Well, that's not me, cause I didn't eat any homework. Yes. Okay, class. We are reading Crime and Punishment. Okay. I mean, we're probably gonna get different translations anyway. Okay. I'm sorry if I don't say clear enough. I just know I'm gonna mess up. Oh gosh. Okay. Ah, I'm scared. Okay. Oh god. It's over. No way! You guys can't share books with me. Okay. Oh god. Okay. What's wrong with me today? Why am I so shy? Okay. Chapter 1. I know. On an exceptionally hot evening early in July, A young man came out of the garret in which he lodged in S Place and walked slowly, as though in hesitation, towards Cambridge. I don't know if I said garret right. I just read with my eyes, man. He had successfully avoided meeting his landlady on the staircase. His garret was under the roof of a high, 5-storied house and was more like a cupboard than a room. The landlady who provided him with garret, dinners, and attendance lived on the floor below, and every time he went out he was obliged to pass her kitchen, the door of which invariably stood open. And each time he passed, the young man had a sick, frightened feeling which made him scowl and feel ashamed. He was hopelessly in debt to his landlady and was afraid of meeting her. This was not because he was cowardly and abject, quite the contrary, but for some time past he had been in an overstrained, irritable condition, verging on hypochondria. Hypo. I'm just joking. Why am I doing a chubby right now? He had become so completely absorbed in himself and isolated from his fellows that he dreaded meeting not only his landlady, but anyone at all. He was crushed by poverty, but the anxieties of his position had of late ceased to weigh upon him. He had given up attending to matters of practical importance. He had lost all desire to do so. I'm getting shy! Nothing that any landlady could do had a real terror for him. But to be stopped on the stairs, to be forced to listen to her trivial, irrelevant gossip, to pestering demands for payment, threats and complaints, and to rack his brains for excuses, to prevaricate, to lie. No, rather than that, he would creep down the stairs like a cat and slip out unseen. Momo? Momo? What happened? I don't know what happened. What? Oh, I think I just ruined my... No, it's not. Okay. No. Where was I? Yeah. Okay. What was I saying? Oh no, I'm sorry if I read a word wrong. Okay. This evening, however, on coming out into the street, he became acutely aware of his fears. Fixes. I want to attempt a thing like that, and am frightened by these trifles, he thought, with an odd smile. Yes, all is in a man's hands, and he lets it all slip from cowardice. That's an axiom. Help me. Oh no. This is why you need to read out loud and not with your eyes sometimes. Okay, thank you. It would be interesting to know what it is men are most afraid of. Taking a new step, uttering a new word, is what they fear most. Well, that's what I fear, but I'm not a man. But I am talking too much. It's because I chatter that I do nothing. Or perhaps it is that I chatter because I do nothing. I've learned to chatter this last month, lying for days together in my den thinking of Jack the Giant Killer. Why am I going there now? Am I capable of that? Is it that serious? It is not serious at all. It's simply a fantasy to amuse myself. A plaything. Yes, maybe it is a plaything. I think the word plaything is like unbelievably lewd. There's just something about the word plaything that's just, I know it's literally just toy, but like there's just something incredibly lewd about the word plaything. I'm just saying, you know, like reader's note. No, I'm just saying, like, there's just something weird about it. Zoom or note? What the heck are you talking about? Okay. As I was saying. What the hell? The freaking bird outside scared me. The heat in the street was terrible, and the airlessness, the bustle and the plaster, scaffolding, bricks and dust, all about him, and that special Petersburg stench, not stench. So familiar to all who are unable to get out of town in summer. All worked painfully upon the young man's already overwrought nerves. The insufferable stench from the pot houses, which are particularly numerous in that part of the town, and the drunken men whom he met continually, although it was a working day, completed the revolting misery of the picture. An expression of the profoundest disgust gleamed for a moment in the young man's refined face. He was, by the way, exceptionally handsome, above the average in height, slim, well-built, with beautiful dark eyes and dark brown hair. What the freaks? Thank you for rating me. Oh gosh. I'm getting nervous because I feel like I'm reading in front of class and then there's more. I hope you guys had fun on Phase Weekly's those. Right now we're just taking it easy and reading Crime and Punishment. Dizzy Mama! Have you read Crime and Punishment, Sis? I think Dizzy Mama has read it a little. No. Unplug my... Hello? Oh. Okay. I can read it to you, but I'm bad at reading. I'm bad at reading. But I hope everyone has fun still reading along and stuff. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go again. I mean, let's start again. Okay. Oh. Soon he sank into deep thought, or more accurately speaking, into a complete blankness of mind. He walked along, not observing what was about him, and not caring to observe it. From time to time, he would mutter something, from the habit of talking to himself, to which he had just confessed. At these moments, he would become conscious that his ideas were sometimes in a tangle, and that he was very weak. For 2 days, he had scarcely tasted food. Oh no. He was so badly dressed that even a man accustomed to shabbiness would have been ashamed to be seen in the street in such rags. Am I that quiet? I don't know. That's scaring me because I remember people would keep saying, "Can you speak a bit louder?" Like even when I was talking normally. Oh no, I'm gonna be quiet too at the thing. Like when I say, my name is Moo, and oh no. Okay, hold on. I don't wanna be too loud, Zess. Is this okay, Zess? Zess? What else? Testing. My name is Muu Muyu. My name is... Yippee! Okay. Oh no, you're gonna hear me breathe! What are they talking about, Jess? Oh. In that quarter of the town, however, scarcely any shortcoming in dress would have created surprise. Owing to the proximity of the hay market, the number of establishments of bad character, what the freak is that word? The preponderance of the trading and working class population crowded in these streets and alleys in the heart of Petersburg. Types so various were to be seen in the streets that no figure, however clear, would have caused surprise. Huh? Yeah. But there... I'm getting shy again. Oh. Okay. But there was such accumulated bitterness and contempt in the young man's heart that, in spite of all the fastidiousness, however you read that, in spite of all the fastidiousness of youth, he minded his rags least of all in the street. It was a different matter when he met with acquaintances or with former fellow students, whom, indeed, he disliked meeting at any time. And yet, when a drunken man who, for some unknown reason, was being taken somewhere in a huge wagon dragged by a heavy dray horse, suddenly shouted at him as he drove past, "Hey there! Hey there, German hat tile! bawling at the top of his voice and pointing at him. I don't know how to say that. Hey there! The young man stopped suddenly and clutched tremulously. Tremulously? At his hat. It was a tall, round hat from Zimmerman's, but completely worn out, rusty with age, all torn and bespattered, brimless, and bent on one side in a most unseemly fashion. Not shame, however, but quite another feeling akin to horror had overtaken him. I knew it, he muttered in confusion. I thought so. That's the worst of all. Why, a stupid thing like this, the most trivial detail might spoil the whole plan. Yes, my hat is too noticeable. It looks absurd, and that makes it noticeable. With my rags, I ought to wear a cap. Any sort of old pancake. But not this grotesque thing. Nobody wears such a hat. It would be noticed a mile off. It would be remembered. What matters is that people will remember it, and that would give them a clue. For this business, one should be as little conspicuous as possible. Trifles are what matter. Why, it's just such trifles that always ruin everything. Okay, if I read it with emotion, it's gonna sound like a little girl. It's not gonna sound like the dudes. So I can't put emotion into it. Oh no. Oh. Okay. Okay. sorry. I didn't want to bust my mic. Wow. He had not far to go. He knew indeed how many steps it was from the gate of his lodging house. Exactly 730. He had counted them once when he had been lost in dreams. At the time he had put no faith in those dreams and was only tantalizing himself by their hideous but daring recklessness. Now, a month later, he had begun to look upon them differently, and, in spite of the monologues in which he jeered at his own impotence and indecision, he had involuntarily come to regard this hideous dream as an exploit to be attempted, although he still did not realize this himself. He was positively going now for a rehearsal of his project, and at every step his excitement grew more and more violent. With a sinking... I have a lisp. Do I have reverb on? Why didn't you guys tell me I had reverb on? You guys are dummy dogs. No, it's not intentional. I didn't mean to have it on. I don't want to sound cool. No. Nope. I'm not bringing it back. No way. Okay. No. um, with a sinking heart and a nervous tremor, he went up to a huge house, which on one side looked onto the canal and on the other into the street. This house was let out in tiny tenements. Question mark? And was inhabited by working people of all kinds. Tailors, locksmiths, cooks, Germans of sorts, girls picking up a living as best they could, petty clerks, etc. No! Tail! Tailors. Now there are no VTubers mentioned in the book, I'm sorry. I was wondering about Germans of sorts. Why is that a profession? There was a continual coming and going through the two gates and in the two courtyards of the house. 3 or 4 doorkeepers were employed on the building. The young man was very glad to meet none of them, and at once slipped unnoticed through the door on the right and up the staircase. It was a back staircase, dark and narrow, but he was familiar with it already and knew his way. And he liked all these surroundings. In such darkness, even the most inquisitive eyes were not to be dreaded. If I am so scared now, what would it be if it somehow came to pass that I were really going to do it? He could not help asking himself as he reached the 4th story. There his progress was barred by some porters who were engaged in moving furniture out of a flat. He knew that the flat had been occupied by a German clerk in the civil service and his family. This German was moving out then, and so the 4th floor on the staircase would be untenanted. Oh no! Untenanted. Right? How are you supposed to read that? So the 4th floor. No, it's untenanted. Like tenant. Like somebody that occupies. Tenant, somebody that occupies like an apartment or something. And ED. On tenant. ED. Untenanted. I think. Okay. And so the 4th floor on this staircase would be untenanted except by the old woman. I'm getting shy again. I'm sorry, I'm so shy. Oh. Okay. That's a good thing anyway, he thought to himself as he rang the bell of the old woman's flat. The bell gave a faint tinkle, as though it were made of tin and not of copper. Bell! The little flats in such houses always have bells that ring like that. He had forgotten the note of that bell, and now its peculiar tinkle seemed to remind him of something and to bring it clearly before him. He started. His nerves were terribly overstrained by now. In a little while, the door was opened a tiny crack. The old woman eyed her visitor with evident distrust through the crack, and nothing could be seen but her little eyes glittering in the darkness. But, seeing a number of people on the landing, she grew bolder and opened the door wide. The young man stepped into the dark entry, which was partitioned off from the tiny kitchen. The old woman stood facing him in silence and looking inquiringly at him. She was a diminutive. She was a diminutive. Diminuttive. She was a diminutive, withered up old woman of 60, with sharp malignant eyes and a sharp little nose. I'm shy. I have no confidence. Oh my god. Okay. Sorry. Okay, continuing. Her colorless, somewhat grizzled hair was thickly smeared with oil, and she wore no kerchief over it. Round her thin, long neck, which looked like a hen's leg, was knotted some sort of flannel rag, and, in spite of the heat, there hung flapping on her shoulders a mangy, M-A-N-G-Y, mangy fur cape. I don't know. Oh, okay. There hung flapping on her shoulders a mangy fur cape, yellow with age. The old woman coughed and groaned at every instant. The young man must have looked at her with a rather peculiar expression, for a gleam of mistrust came into her eyes again. Raskolnikov, a student. I came here a month ago. The young man made haste to mutter, with a half bow, remembering that he ought to be more polite. I remember my... I remember, my good sir. I remember quite well your coming here. The old woman said distinctly, still keeping her inquiring eyes on his face. Here I am again on the same errand. Raskolnikov continued, a little disconcerted and surprised at the old woman's mistrust. Perhaps she is always like that, though, and only I did not notice it the other time, he thought with an uneasy feeling. The old woman paused, as though hesitating, and stepped on one side, and pointing to the door of the room, she said, letting her visitor pass in front of her. "Step in, my good sir." Oh my god. I can't take myself seriously. The little room into which the young man walked, with yellow paper on the walls. What the hell is GERANIUMS? Is it with a J or is it with a G? Ay, ay, ay. Geraniums? Geraniums? Okay, thank you. And muslin, like muslin. Hard A, like an A. I don't know what. Oh, uraniums, geraniums, geraniums. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. The little room. The little room lit up. The little room into which the young man walked, with yellow paper on the walls, geraniums and muslin curtains in the windows, was brightly lighted up at the moment by the setting sun. So the sun will shine like this, then too, flashed as it were by chance through Raskolnikov's mind, and with a rapid glance he scanned everything in the room, trying as far as possible trying as far as possible to notice and remember its arrangement. But there was nothing special in the room. The furniture, all very old and of yellow wood, consisted of a sofa with a huge bent wooden back, an oval table in front of the sofa, a dressing table with a looking glass fixed on it between the windows, chairs along the walls, and 2 or 3 halfpenny prints in yellow frames representing German damsels with birds in their hands. That was all. In the corner, a light was burning before a small IKON icon. IKON. Let's see.
Icon.
Icon. Oh my god. I get the more anxious I get, the more I end up blitting. Okay. Okay. In the corner a light was burning before a small icon. Everything was very clean. The floor and the furniture were brightly polished. Everything shone. Elizabeth. Oh wait, that's that's a dude. Elizabeth has work, thought the young man. There was not a speck of dust to be seen in the whole flat. It's in the houses of spiteful old widows that one finds such cleanliness. Raskolnikov thought again, and he stole a curious glance at the cotton curtain over the door, leading into another tiny room, in which stood the old woman's bed and chest of drawers, into which he had never looked before. These 2 rooms made up the whole flat. "What do you want?" the old woman said severely, coming into the room and, as before, standing in front of him so as to look him straight in the face. "I've brought something to pawn here," and he drew out of his pocket an old-fashioned flat silver watch. On the back of it was engraved a globe. The chain was of steel. "But the time is up for your last pledge. The month was up the day before yesterday. I will bring you the interest for another month. Wait a little." "But that's for me to do as I please, my good sir. To wait or to sell your pledge at once." "How much will you give me for the watch, Alyona Ivanovna?" Alyona Ivanovna. Or is it Alyona Ivanovna? Wait. "You come in such trifles, my good sir. It's scarcely worth anything. I gave you 2 rubles last time for your ring, and one could buy it quite new at a jeweler's for around a ruble and a half. Give me 4 rubles for it. I shall redeem it. It was my father's. I shall be getting some money soon." "A ruble and a half, interest in advance if you like." "A ruble and a half!" cried the young man. "Please yourself." And the old woman handed him back the watch. The young man took it and was so angry that he was on the point of going away, but checked himself at once, remembering that there was nowhere else he could go, and that he had another object also in coming. "Hand it over," he said roughly. The old woman fumbled in her pocket for her keys and disappeared behind the curtain into the other room. The young man, left standing alone in the middle of the room, listened inquisitively, thinking. He could hear her unlocking the chest of drawers. It must be the top drawer, he reflected, so she carries the keys in a pocket on the right, all in one bunch on a steel ring. And there's one key there, 3 times as big as all the others, with deep notches. That can't be the key of the chest of drawers. Then there must be some other chest or strong box. That's worth knowing. Strong boxes always have keys like that. But how degrading it all is. The old woman came back. "Here, sir, as we say 10... I can't make this voice anymore. As we say 10 cop.
Kopeck.
As we say 10 kopecks. The ruble a month. So I must take 15 kopecks from a ruble and a half for the month in advance. But for the 2 rubles I lent you before, you owe me now 20 kopecks. The same reckoning in advance. That makes 35 Copics altogether. So I must give you a ruble and 15 Copics for the watch. Here it is. What? Only a ruble and 15 Copics now? Just so. The young man did not dispute it and took the money. He looked at the old woman and was in no hurry to get away, as though there was still something he wanted to say. What to do? But he did not himself quite know what. I may be bringing you something else in a day or two, Alyona Ivanovna. A valuable thing, silver, a cigarette box. As soon as I get it back from a friend, he broke off in confusion. Well, we will talk about it then, sir. Goodbye. Are you always at home alone? Your sister's not here with you? He asked her as casually as possible as he went out into the passage. What business is she of yours, my good sir? Oh, nothing particular. I simply asked. You're too quick. Good day, Alyona Ivanovna. Raskolnikov went out in complete confusion. This confusion became more and more intense. As he went down the stairs, he even stopped short, 2 or 3 times, as though suddenly struck by some thought. When he was in the street, he cried out, "Oh God, how loathsome it all is! And can I possibly... No, it's nonsense, it's rubbish!" I don't want to put any emotion into it. I just sound so dumb. He added resolutely, "And how could such an atrocious thing come into my head? What filthy things my heart is capable of. Yes, filthy above all, disgusting, loathsome, loathsome! And for a whole month I've been..." But no words, no exclamations could express his agitation, the feeling of intense repulsion which had begun to oppress and torture his heart while he was on his way to the old woman, had by now reached such a pitch and had taken such definite form that he did not know what to do with himself to escape from his wretchedness. He walked along the pavement like a drunken man, regardless of the passers-by and jolting against them, and only came to his senses when he was in the next street. Looking round, he noticed that he was standing close to a tavern, which was entered by steps leading from the pavement to the basement. At that instant, 2 drunken men came out the door, and abusing and supporting one another, they mounted the steps without stopping to think. Oh, my bad. Without stopping to think. Without stopping to think, Raskolnikov went down the steps at once. Till that moment he had never been into a tavern, but now he felt giddy and was tormented by a burning thirst. He longed for a drink of cold beer, and attributed his sudden weakness to the want of food. He sat down at a sticky little table in a dark and dirty corner, ordered some beer, and eagerly drank off the first glassful. At once he felt easier, and his thoughts became clear. All that's nonsense, he said hopefully. And there's nothing in it all to worry about. It's simply physical derangement. Just a glass of beer, a piece of dry bread, and in one moment the brain is stronger, the mind is clear, and the will is firm. How utterly petty it all is. But in spite of this scornful reflection, he was by now looking cheerful, as though he were suddenly set free from a terrible burden. And he gazed round in a friendly way at the people in the room. But even at that moment, he had a dim foreboding that this happier frame of mind was also not normal. There were few people at the time in the tavern, besides the two drunken men he had met on the steps. A group consisting of about 5 men and a girl with a concertina had gone out at the same time. Their departure left the room quiet and rather empty. The persons still in the tavern were a man who appeared to be an artisan, drunk, but not extremely so, sitting before a pot of beer, and his companion, a huge, stout man with a grey beard, in a short, full-skirted coat. Oh. He was very drunk and had dropped asleep on the bench. Dropped asleep, my bad. Every now and then he began as though in his sleep, cracking his fingers with his arms wide apart, and the upper part of his body bounding about on the bench, while he hummed some meaningless refrain, trying to recall such lines as these. His wife, a year. Is he singing this? His wife, a year. He fondly loved his wife, a year. He fondly loved. Or suddenly waking up again. Walking along the crowded road, he met the one he used to know. But no one shared his enjoyment. His silent companion looked with positive hostility and mistrust at all these manifestations. There was another man in the room who looked somewhat like a retired government clerk. He was sitting apart, now and then sipping from his pot, and looking around at the company. He too appeared to be in some agitation. Chapter 2, Desc. Yippee, Desc. Raskolnikov was not used to crowds, and, as we said before, he avoided society of every sort, more especially of late. But now, all at once he felt a desire to be with other people. Something new seemed to be taking place within him, and with it he felt a sort of thirst for company. He was so weary after a whole month of concentrated wretchedness and gloomy excitement that he longed to rest, if only for a moment, in some other world, whatever it may be. And, in spite of the filthiness of the surroundings, he was glad now to stay in the tavern. The master of the establishment was in another room, but he frequently came down some steps into the main room his jaunty, tarred boots with red turnover tops coming into view each time before the rest of his person. He wore a full coat and a horribly greasy black Satan waistcoat. I don't know how to say Satin. Satan. Satan. Satin. Satin.
Satin.
Satin. Satin. Boy, boy. Satin. Greasy black satin waistcoat with no cravat. Satiny. What's cravat? I mean cravat. Cravat.
Cravat.
Cravat. Why'd she say it like that? Okay, let's read it again. He wore a full coat and a horribly greasy black satin waistcoat with no cravat, and his whole face seemed smeared with oil, like an iron lock. At the counter stood a boy of about 14, and there was another boy somewhat younger, who handed whatever was wanted. On the counter lay some sliced cucumber, some pieces of dried black bread, and some fish, chopped up small, all smelling very bad. It was insufferably close and so heavy with the fumes of spirits that 5 minutes in such an atmosphere might well make a man drunk. There are chance greetings with strangers that interest us from the first moment before a word is spoken. Such was the impression made on Raskolnikov by the person sitting a little distance from him, who looked like a retired clerk. The young man often recalled this impression afterwards, and even ascribed it to presentiment. I don't know if I'm saying it right. He looked repeatedly at the clerk, partly no doubt because the latter was staring persistently at him, obviously anxious to enter into the conversation. At the other persons in the room, including the tavern keeper, the clerk looked as though he were used to their company and wary of it, showing a shade of condescending contempt for them as persons of station and culture inferior to his own, with whom it would be useless for him to converse. He was a man over 50, bald and grizzled, of medium height and stoutly built. His face, bloated from continual drinking, was of a yellow, even greenish tinge, with swollen eyelids out of which keen reddish eyes gleamed like little... I can't. I don't know. Question mark? Question mark? Ay. Hold on. I wanna put my legs on the chair. Yeah, I won't. Because even if something was said, innocently, it's just gonna be taken out of context. Alright. I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. Okay. But there was something very strange in him. There was a light in his eyes as though of intense feeling. Perhaps there were even thought and intelligence. But at the same time, there was a gleam of something like madness. He was wearing an old and hopelessly ragged black dress coat, with all its buttons missing except one. And that one he had buttoned, evidently clinging to this last trace of respectability. A crumpled shirt front, covered with spots and stains, protruded from his canvas waistcoat. Are you kidding me? So this guy is like super stuck up. This guy is super stuck up and he's like, they can't relate to my culture. And he's literally like, he has freaking spots and stains. I'm sorry, I just haven't read it in a while. And then this guy is just so stuck up. So far up his ass that he doesn't realize he has all these spots and stains, and he lost all of his buttons except for one, and he's out here being like, they can't relate to me. I live in another world. Oh my gosh. Oh, stuck up they could. I wanna have all power too. I don't really want money because I feel like money is like such a, I don't know. When you think about money, don't you think of conflict? Like when you think about money, you think of like people like murdering you or something for money. That's what I think whenever money gets into the equation. I always think, oh god, somebody's gonna kill me or somebody's gonna, like, I don't know. I know without money it's not good, but at the same time, I feel like I've just seen such horrible things that people would do to get inheritance, for example, or like, you know, like I don't really like the idea of getting money. Because it's so scary to me, like what people will do for it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, you don't wanna. I don't know. It's scary. Yeah. Like, if you ever get a large sum of money, I don't think you should tell anybody because I feel like if you get like a large sum of money, people are gonna see it as an opportunity to either fuck you over or they're gonna end up being like you're gonna see them turn into a bad guy in your life. So yeah, just kind of keep it to yourself. Yeah. Oh. Keep it in your mattress. Do people even do that still? I think I saw cartoons do it. Yeah, but don't wait for your loved ones to become the bad guys in your life. Let's see. Where was I? Is this? I found it. Like a clerk, he wore no beard nor mustache, but had been so long unshaven that his chin looked like a stiff grayish brush. Okay, you guys can't make the argument that he was just drunk and drinking for a while. He hasn't groomed himself. And there is something respectable and like an official about his manner too. But he was restless. He ruffled up his hair and from time to time let his head drop into his hands, dejectedly resting his ragged elbows on the stained and sticky table. Hide this in your mattress. I saw Mr. Krabs do it. I'm not hiding anything in my mattress. I have to tell you guys one thing. I feel like I never have cash on me, but I have like stuff in my online banking. I don't really need to hide anything, I feel. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But you know, if you live out in the country, it's kinda hard to find like people that accept online banking payments. So sometimes you need to have cash on hand, sus. Thank you, the robot nixus Papa sus. I'm not letting anybody hide in my mattress. My mattress is not that thick. My hands are sweating, so I need to take a little break because I'm getting shy. I'm not gonna tell my security pins. Now you can't hold my hands, especially if my hands are sweating like crazy. Security P sounds like security pin, and you know the word security and pin together. Wait. Oh yeah. True. Mini Moos can shapeshift. I can't let any Mini Moos in my mattress. I almost said I can't let any Mini Moos in my wad. Imagine if you paid with a Mini Moo, like a Mini Moo shaped like a cash money. I feel like you would, like if you hand it out, they would feel the freaking fleshy texture and be like, why the hell did they get this? Maybe they'd go insane and, like, you know how, like, if people see Cthulhu, they go insane and then they just die. Like, I feel like that's what's gonna happen if you hand out minimum money. Agreed. There's a lot of money under my mattress. You're welcome to come and check it out. I'm not gonna fall to this trap. Oh my gosh. How are you guys liking the story so far, by the way? We're still in the... I feel like we're still in the intros. So, it's not really that crazy right now. And I'm sorry, I'm so bad at reading! I can read simple stuff, but if you tell me to read... stuff says I'm gonna break up a lot because nerves and I don't know to read a lot of stuff says. Well, out loud. Oh. I'm just shy. I I can't. I can't. You know what I'm good at? I'm good at leading the rosary. Like, surprisingly, I'm really good at leading the rosary. Like, I don't have any confidence in my reading, but if you tell me to read, like, lead a rosary, I can confidently do it. So, yeah. No, I can't. I think I can't. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to. Is what I mean. No, I'm shy. Don't talk about that stuff. Well, no, I don't know the mysteries by heart. I used to. Back when we had to pray it every day. Oh my gosh. But now I really don't. I used to also kind of memorize the litany of the Blessed Virgin Mary, but now I don't. Sniff, sniff, sis. Sniff, sniff. The creed. I believe in God the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. Oh no. Oh no, Zesh. My palms won't stop sweating. I feel like I'm turning into a kitty cat or something that don't like animals sweat from their hands sometimes. I feel like that's me right now. Oh, kitty cow. Oh. Okay, I don't think panting is a good sound. I usually have powder, but I can't find any powders. Yes. Do you guys have a pulse oximeter in your house? I have one, but it's broken now, so I gotta buy a new one soon. But it's okay, cause pulse oximeters are not that expensive. IMO. Pulse oximeters, like, you know when you go to the hospital and they put like this thing on your thingy, and then it checks like your blood oxygen and your pulse. Yeah. 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 I have one, yes. Really, it's good for measuring sleep quality. I need some help with my sleep. Because I think my sleep quality isn't that good. I need to go to the doctor for it, but I'm like... I don't know, I can't. I don't know what to say. Oi, oi, oi. A mask thing. Do you sleep there? Like, is that how they measure your sleep quality? You sleep at the clinic? Oh my gosh, you guys. It's been stuck in my head. This stupid thing. Skibbity, skibbity, hawk to a hawk. Oh my gosh. I need to get it out of my head. I want to get it out of my head. Oh my gosh. You guys don't understand. I saw the... Yeah, the razor. There's no razor. What was the spooky scary skeletons one though? Was it spooky scary skibbity? Spooky scary skibbity sends rizzlers down your gat or something like that. Unironically going to freaking die. Alright. Oh my god. Okay. Let's do it now. So going back to where we were, the stuck-up guy is about to talk to Raskolnikov. At last he looked straight at Raskolnikov and said loudly and resolutely, "May I venture, honored sir, to engage you in polite conversation, for as much as, though your exterior would not command respect, my experience admonishes me that you are a man of education and not accustomed to drinking. I've always respected education when in conjunction with genuine sentiments, and I am besides a titular counselor in rank." "Marmeladov, such is my name. Titular counselor. I make bold to inquire, have you been in the service?" "No, I'm studying," answered the young man, somewhat surprised at the grandiloquent style of the speaker, and also at being so directly addressed. In spite of the momentary desire he had just been feeling for company of any sort, on being actually spoken to, he felt immediately his habitual irritable and uneasy aversion for any stranger who approached or attempted to approach him. So true. "A student then, or formerly a student?" cried the clerk. "Just what I thought. I'm a man of experience, immense experience. Wait. Yeah. Immense experience, sir." And he tapped his forehead with his fingers in self-approval. "You've been a student or have attended some learned institution, but allow me." He got up, staggered, took off his jug and glass, and sat down beside the young man, facing him a little sideways. "Huh?" Her first English all her education really had so very British accent listening, but it's the default in all of European Union. What the hell? You guys actually learned with British English? I mean British accent? Bro, when you make eye contact with the wrong person, when you make eye contact with the wrong person here, they just start begging you. And even when you say no, they still beg. Like I remember, I was just at a coffee shop, and I was like pretty early, I think. And I was at the coffee shop and I was like ordering, and then I was seated and waiting for my order. And then this freaking dude walks like is at the door, opens the door and says, "Ma'am, can I have some money?" And I was like, "Oh no, what? Where's the guard for this place? Oh no!" Oh my gosh, I was so overwhelmed. Oh gosh. I don't know what to do, like, in that moment. Like, I don't know what to do. No, I don't think I give off the vibe. I don't give off the vibe of someone with a lot of money. I don't. I literally just wear a freaking. Okay, if I'm not feeling like cute, I just wear a freaking anime shirt with freaking shorts. I literally look like a loser. You can't ask me for money. You literally fucking can't. I'm like the freaking. I'm like the people repellent or something. Like when you see me from a distance, you're gonna be like, okay, time to avoid. Time to avoid. Taught listening tapes. What the hell? That's crazy. Bro. No. Okay, see, I need to stop yapping then. That sounds like a Finnish last name, Yappinen. Yappinen. What was it? Okay. So, what was his name again? Marmeladov is currently approaching our protagonist. Yeah. He was drunk, but spoke fluently and boldly, only occasionally losing the thread of his sentences and drawling his words. He pounced upon Raskolnikov as greedily as though he too had not spoken to a soul for a month. "Honored sir," he began almost with solemnity. "Poverty is not a vice, that's a true saying. Yet I know too that drunkenness is not a virtue, and that's even truer. But beggary, honored sir, beggary is a vice. In poverty you may still retain your innate nobility of soul, but in beggary, never, no one. For beggary, a man is not chased out of human society with a stick. He's swept out with a broom, so as to make it as humiliating as possible. And quite right too, for as much as in beggary I'm ready to be the first to humiliate myself. Hence the pot house, honored sir. A month ago, Mr. Oh, my shot. Lebeziatnikov. Mr. Lebeziatnikov gave my wife a beating. And my wife is a very different matter from me. Do you understand? Allow me to ask you another question out of simple curiosity. Have you ever spent a night on a hay barge on the Neva? No, I have not happened to, answered Raskolnikov. What do you mean? Well, I've just come from one, and it's the 5th night I've slept, so... He filled his glass, emptied it, and paused. Bits of hay were in fact clinging to his clothes and sticking to his hair. It seemed quite probable that he had not undressed or washed for the last 5 days. Hey! His hands, particularly, were filthy. They were fat and red with black nails. Why would you go to this guy? His conversation seemed to excite a general, though languid interest. Languid. The boys at the counter fell to sniggering. The innkeeper came down from the upper room, apparently on purpose to listen to the funny fellow, and sat down at a little distance, yawning lazily, but with dignity. Evidently, Marmeladov was a familiar figure here, and he had most likely acquired his weakness for high-flown speeches from the habit of frequently entering into conversation with strangers of all sorts in the tavern. This habit develops into a necessity in some drunkards, and especially in those who are looked after sharply and kept in order at home. Hence, in the company of other drinkers, they try to justify themselves and even, if possible, obtain consideration. Funny fellow, pronounced the innkeeper. And why don't you work? Why aren't you at your duty if you're in the service? Why am I not at my duty, honored sir? Marmeladov went on, addressing himself exclusively to Raskolnikov, as though it had been he who put that question to him. Why am I not at my duty? Does not my heart ache to think what a useless worm I am? A month ago, when Mr. Lebeziatnikov beat my wife with his own hands and I lay drunk, didn't I suffer? Excuse me, young man, has it ever happened to you, well, to petition hopelessly for a loan? Yes, it has, but what do you mean by hopelessly? Hopelessly in the fullest sense, when you know beforehand that you will get nothing by it. You know, for instance, beforehand with positive certainty that this man, this most reputable and exemplary citizen, will on no consideration give you money. And indeed I ask you, why should he? For he knows, of course, that I shan't pay it back. From compassion? But Mr. Lebeziatnikov, who keeps up with modern ideas, explained the other day that compassion is forbidden nowadays by science itself, and that's what is done now in England, where there is political economy. Why, I ask you, should he give it to me? And yet, though I know beforehand that he won't, I set off to him and... Why do you go? Put in Raskolnikov. God, you ramble so much, he really is the drunk. Oh. Well, when one has none, nowhere else one can go. For every man must have somewhere to go. Since there are times when one absolutely must go somewhere. When my own daughter first went out with a yellow ticket, then I had to go. For my daughter has a yellow passport. He added in parentheses, looking with a certain uneasiness at the young man. No matter, sir, no matter. He went on hurriedly and with apparent composure when the boys at the counter guffawed. Guffawed? What's guffawed?
Guffaw.
Guffawed. Oh, laugh like cackly. Boys at the counter. Ugh. Itchy back. Ay, ay, ay. Guffawed, and even the is that? And even the innkeeper smiled. No matter, I am not confounded by the wagging of their heads, for everyone knows everything about it already, and all that is secret is made open, and I accept it all, not with contempt, but with humility. So be it, so be it. Behold the man. Excuse me, young man. Can you... No. To put it more strongly and more distinctly, not can, but dare you, looking upon me, assert that I am not a pig. The young man did not answer a word. Oh my god. I don't want to say this! Well, the orator began stolidly and with even increased dignity after waiting for the laughter in the room to subside. Well, so be it. I am a pig, but she is a lady. I have the semblance of a beast, but Katerina Ivanovna, my spouse, is a person of education and an officer's daughter. Granted, I am a scoundrel, but she is a woman of a noble heart, full of sentiments, refined by education. And yet, oh, if only she felt for me! Honored sir, you know every man ought to have at least one place where people feel for him. But Katerina Ivanovna, though she is magnanimous, she is unjust. And yet, although I realize that when she pulls my hair, she only does it out of pity. For, I repeat without being ashamed, she pulls my hair, young man, he declared with redoubled dignity, hearing the sniggering again. But my God, if she would but once! But no, it's all in vain, and it's no use talking. For more than once my wish did come true, and more than once she has felt for me. But such is my fate, and I am a beast by nature. Rather, assented the innkeeper, yawning. Marmeladov struck his fist resolutely on the table. Oh no! Oh no! Such is my fate. Do you know, sir? Do you know I have sold her very stockings for drink? Not her shoes. That would be more or less in the order of things. But her stockings I have sold for drink. How do you say that? Her mohair shawl. I sold for drink, a present to her long ago, her own property, not mine. And we live in a cold room, and she caught cold this winter, and has begun coughing and spitting blood too. We have 3 little children, and Katerina Ivanovna is at work from morning till night. She is scrubbing and cleaning and washing the children. But Oh, for she's been used to cleanliness from a child. But her chest is weak, and she has a tendency to consumption, and I feel it! Do you suppose I don't feel it? The more I drink, the more I feel it. That's why I drink too. I try to find sympathy and feeling in drink. I drink so that I may suffer twice as much. And as though in despair, he laid his head down on the table. Young man, he went on, raising his head again. In your face I seem to read some trouble of mind. When you came in I read it, and that was why I addressed you at once. For in unfolding to you the story of my life, I do not wish to make myself a laughing stock before these idle listeners, who indeed know all about it already. But I am looking for a man of feeling and education. Know then that my wife was educated in a high-class school for the daughters of noble men. And on leaving she danced the shawl dance before the governor and other personages what? For which she was presented with a gold medal and a certificate of merit. The medal, well, the medal of course was sold long ago. But the certificate of merit is in her trunk still, and not long ago she showed it to a landlady. And although she is most continually on bad terms with the landlady, yet she wanted to tell someone or other of her past honors and of the happy days that are gone. I don't condemn her for it. I don't blame her, for the one thing left her is recollection of the past, and all the rest is dust and ashes. Yes, she's a lady of spirit, proud and determined. She scrubs the floors herself and has nothing but black bread to eat, but won't allow herself to be treated with disrespect. That's why she would not overlook Mr. Lebeziatnikov's rudeness to her. And so when he gave her a beating for it, she took to her bed more from the hurt to her feelings than from the blows. She was a widow when I married her, with 3 children, one smaller than the other. She married her first husband, an infantry officer, for love, and ran away with him from her father's house. She was exceedingly fond of her husband, but he gave way to cards, got into trouble, and with that, he died. He used to beat her at the end, and although she paid him back, of which I have authentic documentary evidence, to this day she speaks of him with tears, and she throws him up to me, and I am glad. I am glad that, though only in imagination, she should think of herself as having once been happy. I can't read this accent anymore. I couldn't read this entire time. It's so rough. She was left at his death with 3 children in a wild, remote district where I happened to be at the time. And she was left in such hopeless poverty that, although I have seen many ups and downs of all sorts, I don't feel equal to describing it even. Her relations had all thrown her off, and she was proud too, excessively proud, and then, honored sir, and then I, being at the time a widower, with a daughter of 14, left me by my first wife, offered her my hand. For I could not bear the sight of such suffering. You can judge the extremity of her calamities, that she, a woman of education and culture and distinguished family, should have consented to be my wife. But she did, weeping and sobbing and wringing her hands She married me, for she had nowhere to turn. Do you understand, sir? Do you understand what it means when you have absolutely nowhere to turn? No, that you don't understand yet. And for a whole year, I performed my duties conscientiously and faithfully and did not touch this. He tapped the jug with his finger. for, for I have feelings. But even so, I could not please her. And then I lost my place too. And that through no fault of mine, but through changes in the office. And then I did touch it. It will be a year and a half ago soon since we found ourselves at last, after many wanderings and numerous calamities, in this magnificent capital, adorned with innumerable monuments. Here I obtained the situation. I obtained it and lost it again. You understand? This time it was through my own fault I lost it, for my weakness had come out. We have now part of a room at Amalia Fyodorovna Lipeveshksel. And what we live upon and what we pay our rent with, I could not say. There are a lot of people living there besides ourselves. Dirt and disorder. A perfect bedlam. Bedlam? Yes. And meanwhile my daughter by my first wife has grown up, and what my daughter has had to put up with from her stepmother while she was growing up I won't speak of. For though Katerina Ivanovna is full of generous feelings, she's a spirited lady. I can't read anymore. You have so much. Irritable and short-tempered. Yes, but it's no use going over that. Sonia, as you may well fancy, has had no education. I did make an effort 4 years ago to give her a course of geography and universal history, but as I was not very well up in those subjects myself, and we had no suitable books. And what books we had... Anyway, we have not even those now, so all our instruction came to an end. We stopped at Cyrus of Persia. Since she has attained years of maturity, she has read other books of romantic tendency, and of late she had read with great interest a book she got through Mr. Lebeziatnikov. Loose Psychophysiology. You know it? And even recounted extracts from it to us. And that's the whole of her education. And now may I venture to address you, honored sir, on my own account with a private question. Do you suppose that a respectable, poor girl can earn much by honest work? Not 15 farthings a day can she earn if she is respectable and has no special talent, and that without putting her work down for an instant. And what's more, Ivan Ivanich Kropstok. Ivan Ivanich Kropstok, the civil counselor, have you heard of him? Has not to this day paid her for the half-dozen linen shirts she made him, and drove her roughly away, stamping and reviling her on the pretext that the shirt collars were not made like the pattern and were put in askew. And there are the little ones hungry, and Katerina Ivanovna walking up and down and wringing her hands, her cheeks flushed red. as they always are in that disease. "Here you live with us," says she. "You eat and drink and are kept warm, and you do nothing to help. And much she gets to eat and drink when there is not a crust for the little ones for 3 days. I was lying at the time. Well, what of it? I was lying drunk and I heard my Sonia speaking. She's a gentle creature with a soft little voice, fair hair, and such a pale, thin little face. She said, Katerina Ivanovna, am I really to do a thing like that?" And Daria Frantsovna, a woman of evil character. Oh my god. And Darya Frantsovna, a woman of evil character and very well known to the police, had 2 or 3 times tried to get at her through the landlady. "And why not?" said Katerina Ivanovna with a jeer. "You're something mighty precious to be so careful of. But don't blame her. Don't blame her, honored sir. Don't blame her. She was not herself when she spoke, but driven to distraction by her illness and the crying of the hungry children, and it was said more to wound her than anything else, for that's Katerina Ivanovna's character. And when children cry, even from hunger, she falls to beating them at once. At 6 o'clock, I saw Sonia get up and put on her kerchief and her cape and go out of the room, and about 9 o'clock she came back. She walked straight up to Katerina Ivanovna and she laid 30 rubles on the table before her in silence. She did not utter a word. She did not even look at her. She simply picked up a big green drop. What the hell? Drop the diamond. Drop. Shawl. We have a shawl made of drop. I don't know. Drop the dummies. Put it over her head and face and lay down on the bed with her face to the wall. Only her little shoulders and her body kept shuddering, and I went on lying there just as before. And then I saw, young man, I saw Katerina Ivanovna in the same silence go up to Sonia's little bed. She was on her knees all the evening, kissing Sonia's feet, and would not get up. And then they both fell asleep in each other's arms, together. And yes, I lay drunk. Marmeladov stopped short, as though his voice had failed him. Then he hurriedly filled his glass, drank, and cleared his throat. Oh no. Since then, sir, he went on after a brief pause. Since then, owing to an unfortunate occurrence and through information given by evil-intentioned persons, in all which Darya Frantsovna took a leading part on the pretext that she had been treated with want of respect. Since then, my daughter, Sofia Semyonovna, has been forced to take a yellow ticket. And owing to that, she is unable to go on living with us. For landlady Amalia Fyodorovna would not hear of it. Though she had backed up Darya Frantsovna before. And Mr. Lebeziatnikov too. all the trouble between him and Katerina Ivanovna was on Sonia's account. At first he was making up to Sonia himself, and then all of a sudden he stood on his dignity. "How," said he, "can a highly educated man like me live in the same rooms with a girl like that?" And Katerina Ivanovna would not let it pass. She stood up for her, and that's how it happened. And Sonia comes to us now, mostly after dark, comforts Katerina Ivanovna, and gives her all she can. She has a room at the Capernaumovs, the tailors. She lodges with them. Capernaumov is a lame man with a cleft palate, and all of his numerous family have cleft palates too. And his wife too has a cleft palate. They all live in one room, but Sonia has her own partitioned off. Yes. Very poor people and all with the cleft palates. With cleft palates, yes. Then I got up in the morning and put on my rags, lifted up my hands to heaven, and set off to His Excellency Ivan Afanasovich. His Excellency Ivan Afanasovich, do you know him? No? Well, then, it's a man of God you don't know. He's wax before the face of the Lord, even as wax melteth. His eyes were dim when he heard my story. Mamladov, once already you've deceived my expectations. I'll take you up once more on my own responsibility. That's what he said. Remember, he said. And now you can't go. And now you can go. I kissed the dust at his feet. In thought only, for in reality he would not have allowed me to do it, being a statesman and a man of modern, political and enlightened ideas. I returned home, and when I announced that I'd been taken back into the service and should receive a salary, heavens, what a to-do there was. Marmeladov stopped again in violent excitement. At that moment, a whole party of revelers, already drunk, came in from the street, and the sounds of a hired concertina and the cracked piping voice of a child of 7 singing the Hamlet were heard in the entry. The room was filled with noise. The tavern keeper and the boys were busy with the newcomers. Marmeladov, paying no attention to the new arrivals, continued his story. He appeared by now to be extremely weak, but as he became more and more drunk, he became more and more talkative. The recollection of his recent success in getting the situation seemed to revive him, and was positively reflected in a sort of radiance on his face. Raskolnikov listened attentively. "Oh, thank you. I can't read your name. But thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you. Oh, Snowman. Thank you, Snowman. Yes. I'm guessing you like this book. Oh, yeah. I've never seen a snowman IRL. I've seen a snowman, like a snowman decoration, like, you know those plastic things? that's kind of the extent of what I've seen. But an actual snowman, I don't know. I've never even seen a snow angel before. No, I don't have those ears. Yeah, but I would like to see one someday. I kind of want to see, like, a gigantic snowball. I feel like that's the one thing I want to see more than snowflakes and icicles and stuff. I just want to see a gigantic snowball. Like, imagine like a gigantic snowball and you roll it down like a hill. But I feel like it's just gonna break. So we have to think of ways to make it so that it's very dense. Dense is the word? Or I don't know. But if I ever do something like that, I think I'll make a video of it where I try to see how dense I can make a snowball. I don't think anyone's done it before. But a video basically where I try to make it as dense as I can and roll it down a hill. Yeah, the difference between snowmen and snowwomen. Snowballs. I don't know if I should laugh or no. I don't know if I should laugh or if I should just leave you hanging. But I've already laughed, so it's kind of unfair. Thank you, good night. Thank you, Zes. Okay. Okay. So we're at the part where we're at the part where I keep forgetting, cause I substituted his name for Marmalade. Marmeladov. We're at the part where Marmeladov is about to continue. That was 5 weeks ago, sir. Yes. As soon as Katerina Ivanovna and Sonia heard of it, mercy on us, it was as though I stepped into the kingdom of heaven. It used to be, you can lie like a beast, nothing but abuse. Now they were walking on tiptoe, hushing the children. Semyon Zaharovich is tired with his work at the office. He's resting. Shh. They made me coffee before I went to work and boiled cream for me. They began to get real cream for me. You hear that? And how they managed to get together the money for a decent outfit. 11 rubles, 50 kopek. I can't guess. Okay, I have to tell you guys something. Kopeks is like it's like food here. It's like the food here that you deep fry it and then it expands. That's what Kopeks is here. So when I read it, I just think of like those freaking tiny things that become bigger when you fry it. I don't know. I think I don't know. I just can't see it any other way. I'll try to, but I don't know. I can't guess. Boots, cotton shirt, fronts, most magnificent uniform. They got up all in splendid style for 11 rubles and a half. The first morning I came back from the office, I found Katerina Ivanovna had cooked 2 courses for dinner. Soup and salt meat with horseradish, which we had never dreamed of till then. She had not any dresses, none at all, but she got herself up as though she were going on a visit. And not that she'd anything to do it with. She smartened herself up with nothing at all. She done her hair nicely, put on a clean collar of some sort. OMG. Cuffs, and there she was, quite a different person. She was younger and better looking. Sonia, my little darling, had only helped with money for the time. She said, It won't do for me to come and see you too often. After dark, maybe, when no one can say, "Do you hear? Do you hear?" I lay down for a nap after dinner, and what do you think? Though Katerina Ivanovna had quarreled to the last degree with our landlady Amalia Fyodorovna. Only a week before, he could not resist then asking her in to coffee. For 2 hours they were sitting, whispering together. "Semyon Zaharovich is in the service again now, receiving his salary," says she. "And he went himself to His Excellency, and His Excellency himself came out to him, made all the others wait, and led Semyon Zaharovich by the hand before everybody into his study. Do you hear? Do you hear?" "To be sure," says he. "Semyon Zaharovich, remembering your past services," says he, "and in spite of your... I don't know. I don't know which part is him talking anymore." "Semyon Zaharovich, remembering your past services," says he, "and in spite of your propensity to that foolish weakness, since you promise now, and since moreover we've got on badly without you. Do you hear? Do you hear? And so," says he, "I rely now on your word as a gentleman." And all that, let me tell you, she has simply made up for herself, and not simply out of wantonness, for the sake of bragging. No, she believes it all herself. She amuses herself with her own fancies, upon my word she does, and I don't blame her for it. No, I don't blame her. 6 days ago, when I brought her my first earnings in full, 23 rubles, 40 kopecks altogether, she called me her poppet. "Poppet," said she, "my little poppet." And when we were by ourselves, you understand, you would not think me a beauty. You would not think much of me as a husband, would you? Well, she pinched my cheek. "My little poppet," said she. Marmeladov broke off, tried to smile, but suddenly his chin began to twitch. He controlled himself, however. The tavern, the degraded appearance of the man, the 5 nights in the hay barge, and the pot of spirits, and yet this poignant love for his wife and children bewildered his listener. Raskolnikov listened intently, but with a sick sensation. He felt vexed that he had come here. "Honored sir! Honored sir!" cried Marmeladov, recovering himself. "Oh, sir, perhaps all this seems a laughing matter to you, as it does to others, and perhaps I am only worrying you with the stupidity of all the trivial details of my home life. But it is not a laughing matter to me, for I can feel it all. And the whole of that heavenly day of my life, and the whole of that evening I passed in fleeting dreams of how I would arrange it all, and how I would dress all the children, and how I should give her rest, and how I should rescue my own daughter from dishonor and restore her to the bosom of her family. And a great deal more. Quite excusable, sir. Well then, sir." Marmeladov suddenly gave a sort of start, raised his head, and gazed intently at his listener. "Well, on the very next day, after all those dreams, that is to say, exactly 5 days ago, in the evening, by a cunning trick, like a thief in the night, I stole from Katerina Ivanovna the key of her box. Took out what was left of my earnings. How much it was I have forgotten. And now look at me. All of you. It's the 5th day since I left home, and they are looking for me there. And it's the end of my employment. And my uniform is lying in a tavern on the Egyptian bridge. I exchanged it for the garments I have on. And it's the end of everything! Marmaladov struck his forehead with his fist, clenched his teeth, closed his eyes, and leaned heavily with his elbow on the table. But a minute later his face suddenly changed, and with a certain assumed slyness and affection of bravado, he glanced at Raskolnikov, laughed, and said, "This morning I went to see Sonia. I went to ask her for a pick-me-up." "You don't say she gave it to you." "Oh, you don't say she gave it to you!" cried one of the newcomers. He shouted the words and went off into a guffaw. "This very quart was brought with her money," Marmeladov declared, addressing himself exclusively to Raskolnikov. 30 kopecks she gave me with her own hands, her last, all she had, as I saw. She said nothing. She only looked at me without a word. Not on earth, but up yonder. They grieve over men, they weep, but they don't blame them. They don't blame them! But it hurts more when they don't blame. 30 kopeck, yes! And maybe she needs them now, eh? What do you think, my dear sir? For now she's got to keep up her appearance. It costs money. That smartness, that special smartness, you know. Do you understand? And there's pomatum? Pomatum? Pomatum. No. Too, you see. She must have things. Petticoats, starch ones, shoes too. Real jaunty ones to show off her foot when she has to step over a puddle. Do you understand, sir? Do you understand what all that smartness means? And here I, her own father. Here I took 30 kopeck of that money for a drink. And I am drinking it, and I've already drunk it. Come, who will have pity on a man like me? Are you sorry for me, sir, or not? Tell me, sir. Are you sorry or not? He would have filled his glass, but there was no drink left. The pot was empty. What are you to be... Wait. What are you to be pitied for? Shouted the tavern keeper, who was again near them. Shouts of laughter, and even oaths followed. The laughter and the oaths came from those who were listening, and also from those who had heard nothing but were simply looking at the figure of the discharged government clerk. To be pitied? Why am I to be pitied? Marmeladov suddenly declaimed, standing up with his arm outstretched, as though he had been only waiting for that question. Oh my god. Why am I to be pitied, you say? Yes, there's nothing to pity me for. I ought to be crucified. Crucified on a cross, not pitied. Crucify me, O judge. Crucify me, but pity me. And then I will go of myself to be crucified. For it's not merrymaking I seek, but tears and tribulation. Do you suppose, you that sell, that this pint of yours has been sweet to me? It was tribulation I sought at the bottom of it, tears and tribulation, and have found it, and I have tasted it. But he will pity us, who has had pity on all men, who has understood all men and all things. He is the one. He too is the judge. He will come in that day and he will ask, where is the daughter who gave herself for her cross? Consumptive stepmother and for the little children of another. Where is the daughter who had pity upon the filthy drunkard, her earthly father, undismayed by his beastliness? And he will say, come to me, I have already forgiven thee once. I have forgiven thee once. Thy sins, which are many, are forgiven. Forgiven thee, for thou hast loved much. No way! He has to freaking make up for it. What a jerk! He's completely reading him wrong. And he will forgive my Sonia. He will forgive, I know it. I felt it in my heart when I was with her just now. And he will judge and will forgive all, the good and the evil, the wise and the meek. And when he has done with all of them, then he will summon us. You too come forth, he will say. Come forth, ye drunkards! Come forth, ye weak ones! Come forth, ye children of shame! We shall all come forth without shame, and shall stand before him, and he will say unto us, ye are swine made in the image of the beast, and with his mark, but come ye also. And the wise ones and those of understanding will say, O Lord, why dost thou receive these men? And he will say, this is why I receive them, O ye wise. This is why I receive them, O ye of understanding. That not one of them believed himself to be worthy of this. And he will hold out his hands to us, and we shall fall down before him, and we shall weep, and we shall understand all things. Then we shall understand all, and all will understand. Katerina Ivanovna even, she will understand. Lord, thy kingdom come. And he sank down on the bench, exhausted and helpless, looking at no one, apparently oblivious of his surroundings, and plunged in deep thought. His words had created a certain impression. There was a moment of silence, but soon laughter and oaths were heard again. That's his notion. Talked himself silly. A fine clerk he is, and so on and so on. Let us go, sir, said Marmeladov all at once, raising his head and addressing Raskolnikov. Come along with me. Ozo's house, looking into the yard. I'm going to Katerina Ivanovna. Time I did. Raskolnikov had for some time been wanting to go, and he had meant to help him. Marmeladov was much unsteadier on his legs than in his speech, and leaned heavily on the young man. They had 200 or 300 paces to go. The drunken man was more and more overcome by dismay and confusion as they drew nearer the house. Not Katerina Ivanovna I am afraid of now, he muttered in agitation. And that she will begin pulling my hair. What does my hair matter? Bother my hair. That's what I say. Indeed, it will be better if she does begin pulling it. That's not what I am afraid of. It's her eyes I am afraid of. Yes, her eyes. The red on her cheeks too frightens me. Her breathing too. Have you noticed how people in that disease breathe when they are excited? I'm frightened of the children's crying too. Or if Sonia has not taken them food, I don't know what's happened. I don't know. But blows I am not afraid of. No, sir, that such blows are not a pain to me, but even an enjoyment! What? In fact, I can't get on without it. It's better so. Let her strike me. It relieves her heart. It's better so. There's the house of Kozel, the cabinet maker, a German, well-to-do. Lead the way. They went in from the yard and up to the 4th story. The staircase got darker and darker as they went up. It was nearly 11 o'clock, and although in summer, in Petersburg, there is no real night, yet it was quite dark at the top of the stairs. A grimy little door at the very top of the stairs stood ajar. A very poor-looking room, about 10 paces long, was lighted up by a candle end. The whole of it was visible from the entrance. It was all in disorder, littered up with rags of all sorts, especially children's garments. Across the furthest corner was stretched a ragged sheet. Behind it probably was the bed. There was nothing in the room except 2 chairs and a sofa covered with American leather, full of holes, before which stood an old deal kitchen table, unpainted and uncovered. At the edge of the table stood a smoldering tallow candle in an iron candlestick. It appeared that the family had a room to themselves. Not part of a room, but the room was practically a passage. The door leading to the other rooms, or rather, cupboards, into which Amalia Lipevechsel's flat was divided, stood half open, and there was shouting, uproar, and laughter within. People seemed to be playing cards and drinking tea there. Words of the most unceremonious kind flew out from time to time. Raskolnikov recognized Katerina Ivanovna at once. She was a rather tall, slim, and graceful woman, terribly emaciated, with magnificent dark brown hair and with a hectic flush in her cheeks. She was pacing up and down in her little room, pressing her hands against her chest. Her lips were parched, and her breathing came in nervous, broken gasps. Her eyes glittered as in fever, and looked about with a harsh, immovable stare. And that consumptive and excited face, with the last flickering light of the candle end playing upon it, made a sickening impression. She seemed to Raskolnikov about 30 years old, and was certainly a strange wife for Marmeladov. She had not heard them, and did not notice them coming in. She seemed to be lost in thought, hearing and seeing nothing. The room was closed, but she had not opened the window. A stench rose from the staircase, but the door onto the stairs was not closed. From the inner rooms, clouds of tobacco smoke floated in, kept coughing, but did not close the door. The youngest child, a girl of 6, was asleep, sitting curled up on the floor, with her head on the sofa. A boy a year older stood crying and shaking in the corner. Probably he had just had a beating. Beside him stood a girl of 9 years old, tall and thin, wearing a thin and ragged
chemise.
chemise. wearing a thin and ragged chemise with an ancient cashmere. Oh, come on, there's so much. E. Police. Ancient cashmere pelisse flung over her bare shoulders, long outgrown and barely reaching her knees. Her arm, as thin as a stick, was round her brother's neck. She was trying to comfort him, whispering something to him, and doing all she could to keep him from whimpering again. At the same time, her large dark eyes, which looked larger still from the thinness of her frightened face, were watching her mother with alarm. Marmeladov did not enter the door, but dropped on his knees in the very doorway, pushing Raskolnikov in front of him. The woman, seeing a stranger, stopped indifferently facing him. Coming to herself for a moment and apparently wondering what he had come for, but evidently she decided that he was going into the next room, as he had to pass through hers to get there. Taking no further notice of him, she walked towards the outer door to close it and uttered a sudden scream on seeing her husband on his knees in the doorway. I need to drink. Oh my god, my neck just... Yippee! There you go. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. I got so many freaking tabs of how to say this word. I don't know how to cry. Ah! She cried out in a frenzy. He has come back! The criminal! The monster! And where's the money? I'm too ready for this. What's in your pocket? Show me! And your clothes are all different. Where are your clothes? Where's the money? Speak! God damn it. I can't sound. And she fell to searching him. Marmeladov submissively and obediently held up both arms to facilitate the search. Not a farthing was there. Where's the money? She cried. Mercy on us. Can he have drunk it all? There were 12 silver rubles left in the chest. And in a fury, she seized him by the hair and dragged him into the room. Marmeladov seconded her efforts by meekly crawling along on his knees. And this is a consolation to me. This does not hurt me, but is a positive consolation. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, it's him saying it. And this is And this is a consolation to me. This does not hurt me, but is a positive consolation. Honored, sir. He called out, shaken to and fro by his hair, and even once striking the ground with his forehead. The child asleep on the floor woke up and began to cry. Boy. Boy. The boy in the corner, losing all his... The boy in the corner, losing all control, began trembling and screaming and rushed to his sister in violent terror, almost in a fit. The eldest girl was shaking like a leaf. He's drunk it! He's drunk it all! The poor woman screamed in despair. His clothes are gone! They're hungry! Hungry! And wringing her hands, she pointed to the children. Oh, accursed life! And you, are you not ashamed? She pounced all at once. That's how it sounds bad, by the way. And go, oh, like, you know, just leave me alone! I don't know. I don't know, it doesn't sound, I don't know. She bounced all at once upon Raskolnikov. From the tavern, have you been drinking with him? You've been drinking with him too! Go away! The young man was hastening away without uttering a word. The inner door was thrown wide open, and inquisitive faces were peering in at it. Coarse laughing faces with pipes and cigarettes, and heads wearing caps, thrust themselves in at the doorway. Further in could be seen figures in dressing gowns flung open, in costumes of unseemly scantiness, some of them with cards in their hands. They were particularly diverted when Marmeladov, dragged about by his hair, shouted that it was a consolation to him. They even began to come into the room. At last, a sinister shrill outcry was heard. This came from Amalia Lippevechsel. Lippevechsel herself, pushing her way amongst them and trying to restore order after her own fashion, and for the 100th time to frighten the poor woman by ordering her with coarse abuse to clear out of the room next day. As he went out, Raskolnikov had time to put his hand into his pocket to snatch up the coppers he had received in exchange for his ruble in the tavern, and to lay them unnoticed on the window. Afterwards, on the stairs, he changed his mind and would have gone back. What a stupid thing I've done, he thought to himself. I have Sonia. I want it myself. But reflecting that it would be impossible to take it back now, and that in any case he would not have taken it, he dismissed it with a wave of his hand and went back to his lodging. Sonia wants tomato? He said as he walked along the street, and he laughed malignantly. Such smartness costs money. And maybe Sonia herself will be bankrupt today, for there's always a risk. Hunting big game, digging for gold. Then they would all be without a crust tomorrow, except for my money. Hooray for Sonia! What a mine they've dug there. And they're making the most of it, yes. They're making the most of it. They've wept over it and grown used to it. Man grows used to everything, the scoundrel. He sank into thought. What if I'm wrong? He cried suddenly after a moment's thought. What if man is not really a scoundrel? Man in general, I mean. The whole race of mankind. Then all the rest is prejudice, simply artificial terrors, and there are no barriers, and it's all as it should be. End of chapter 2. Oy 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 oy! Oy oy. Yummies! Come on. Oh yeah. Yummy! How many chapters are there in the book again? We're currently on page 44 and there's like a 700 pages or something. Ah. Yeah. Alright. That's it for now though. We read again. I don't know. Do you guys wanna have weekly book day? Book club? Weekly book club? We're gonna have to vote like what book to read next though when we're done with this. Okay. Today is Sunday for me, so that's Saturday PST. Yeah, we can have Saturday book clubs. Okay, hold on. Also, indie game stuff is still gonna happen, but I'm putting it in a pause for now. Yeah, it would be very chaotic if everybody could talk. Do you guys want to add anything else to the book club? Like, what we think so far? You know, that kind of stuff. Saturday book club. But what do you guys want to discuss on? What do you guys want to discuss on Saturday book clubs? Like, before reading, what should we talk about? Before reading. And what atmosphere do you guys want? Hold on, but after... I'm taking notes. Oh no. After... Yeah, maybe we can make a summary. and then we can like put it together. I guess we can have our let's make a Google Doc. I'll make a Google Doc. Hold on. Okay, so I'll say, okay, chapter 1. Chapter 1. So what happened in chapter 1 was, Ay, 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 Momo. Momo. Lagging. No, it's not one ear out the other. Ay, ay, ay. Don't tell me. Is my internet fucking up? No, it's not. I spelled his name wrong. I think in chapter 1 for me, Raskolnikov's being an edgelord and thinking about doing crime. Cause I was trying to recall how to spell his name and I spelled his name like Raskolnikov instead of Raskolnikov. So I think in chapter 1 for me, Raskolnikov is being an edgelord and thinking about doing crime especially when he saw the freaking dude in the street doing crimes, but being too much of a wuss to do it, blaming it on his conspicuous hat at the beginning. He goes back home. He goes back to his apartment, I think. To his place to stay. Going to the landlady and being afraid of her. Because he doesn't have anything to pay for. To pay with. I knew it was marmalade! You see? Marmalade! That's why I kept saying I kept substituting marmeladov to marmalade. Thank you. They talk and she clearly doesn't trust him. They talk and she clearly doesn't trust him and... What was it? They talk and she clearly doesn't trust him and... he tries pawning his watch off to her. But he doesn't like what he got for it. And even I think he was kind of threatening her, wasn't he? Like before he left, he was like, "Do you live alone? You better look out," or something. Like he was just like, you better look out. But he was like, "Do you live alone?" And even... yeah. Literally like what he got for it. And was thinking of committing a crime then. Looking at her surroundings and asking her if she lived alone. As he was leaving the place, he felt disgusted with himself that he thought of the crime. I think that's what it was. And then it was chapter 2, wasn't it? Or did I miss anything? Oh yeah, no, he was. Oh, he was not thinking of murder. I think he was thinking of murder. If I was mad at someone, I would. Okay, I wouldn't think of murder, but if I was an edgelord thinking about doing crimes all day and being mad at someone, I would think of murder. If I was an edgelord, yeah. Let's see. Okay, let me add. He was also listening in. To figure out how to rob how to steal from her drawer. Okay, did it end with him feeling disgusted with himself that he thought of the crime? I think that was the ending of it. And then he went to the tavern, right? Yeah, he went to the tavern and then okay, I'm gonna put that in. He walked to a tavern. That was the end of chapter 1. Okay. Listen to some drunk singing. Okay, and then chapter 2. What was his name again? I just know Marmalade. Marmeladov? Raskolnikov gets approached by Marmeladov. Mr. Marmalade. And he tells his life story in a very exaggerated and drunk way. The tavern is the people in the tavern know Marmeladov and consider him the laughing stock. I'll go with that. After Marmeladov finishes his has nothing left to drink, he gets Raskolnikov to come with him to confront his wife. Well, yeah. Yeah. Right? After Marmeladov has nothing to drink, he gets Raskolnikov to come with him to confront his wife. Raskolnikov. Marmeladov. Yeah. Pushes Raskolnikov in front of him and falls down to his knees. His wife notices Marmeladov and the confrontation begins. Raskolnikov in the middle of it gets told to fuck off to leave by Marmeladov's wife. The people living in the place Marmeladov's family is living at starts to eavesdrop. Begins to eavesdrop. As Raskolnikov is leaving, he notices that the people living in the place begin eavesdrop. Raskolnikov leaves some money for Marmeladov family at the window and regrets it, and then regrets it, thinking about Marmeladov's daughter. He gets approached by a drunkard of the name Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Chapter 1, chapter 2. Yeah, I'm gonna put Moo 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 Moo. What's the word called when you shorten it? Oh god, I forgot what it's called. My brain is fried, Zess. No! Summary, yeah. Moo Moo summary. Okay, I'm gonna share this here. Here you go. Yippee! Okay. What the hell? Why would you use it for homework, sis? Okay. Alright. I think that's it for today, sis. Oh, we can read it. Okay. Chapter 1. Raskolnikov is being an edgelord and thinking about doing crimes but being too much of a wuss to do it, blaming it on his conspicuous hat at the beginning. He goes back to his place to stay, going to the landlady and being afraid of her because he doesn't have anything to pay with. They talk and she clearly doesn't trust him and tries pawning his watch off to her, but he doesn't like what he got for it and was thinking of committing a crime then, looking at her surroundings and asking her if she lived alone. He was also listening in to figure out how to steal from her drawer. As he was leaving the place, he felt disgusted with himself that he had thought of the crime. He walked to a tavern and listened to some drunks singing. Chapter 2. Raskolnikov gets approached by a drunkard of the name of Marmeladov. Marmeladov tells his life story in a very exaggerated and drunk way. The people in the tavern know Marmeladov and consider him the laughing stock. After Marmeladov has nothing left to drink, he gets Raskolnikov to come with him to confront his wife. Marmeladov pushes Raskolnikov in front of him and falls down to his knees. His wife notices Marmeladov and the confrontation begins. Raskolnikov, in the middle of it, gets told to leave by Marmeladov's wife. As Raskolnikov is leaving, he notices that the people living in the place Marmeladov's family is living at were beginning to eavesdrop. Raskolnikov leaves some money for Marmeladov's family at the window and regrets it, and then unregrets it thinking about Marmeladov's daughter. Yeah, that's it. Oh my gosh. Yippee! Okay. I will see you guys some other times, guys. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Moi moi. Moi moi. Moi moi. Moi moi. Moi.